All right, Matt, Gannon, Jerz, we are back. Silly Season Part 2, Hero World Challenge, December 2nd. We're recording this on December 2nd. I think we'll release it tomorrow morning, so morning of December 3rd. We didn't plan this, but we're wearing the same hoodie, it appears. We have been texting. We've been in the group chat. We've been in the Discord. We've been watching golf. We haven't been on here talking about golf, but it's great to see you. And it's great to see that we're already in the zone with the same hoodie on.
Yeah, everyone knows you don't pod about golf in the fall. Just our ancestors made those rules, but we're back for one last pod before because we got some good names on the leaderboard or the field this week. So at least something to talk about. We're not going to get too analytical, I would assume, but it's just going to be some fun. It's just talking some G. We're on some Muta. Like it'll be good.
Yeah, this is for the ball knowers because we've been getting people. They've been reaching out in the Discord. I've been getting DMs. People saying, "Is there going to be a pod this week? Are there going to be pods?" And to your point, the great Brian Kirshner, the great BK, declared long ago that there's no podding in the fall swing, and we'd never want to disrespect the Podfather like that, but. We have always said when there is important goings on in the world of golf, we will be here to discuss it. And there have been some going ons, and we'll get to those in a second. There's been some rumors. Most importantly, Tommy Dietz rumored to be going to Cleeks. When we saw that news this morning, we said we got to get back in the pod. But yeah, we got a lot to go over. We're gonna just kind of shoot the shit. If you're coming for the deep analytical hero takes, we'll get to those. You know, we're gonna give those. That's what ball knowers do. But we got some catching up to do. We've got some fall swing to review. We've got some musings out there amongst people about what might be happening with LIV, with the DP. You know, we've been just because we haven't been potting doesn't mean we haven't had our eyes on the situation. As always, like and subscribe. If you're listening to this, you are a true ball knower. We appreciate you. We appreciate the subscribers throughout the fall. We've been putting out good content. I had a winner with Eck, Billy Ho. I know it's been a rough fall for you. Maybe let's start there. Just like get it out of the way because I know you've been tweeting. You've been knocking on the door. One of the highest quality stretches, I think, of just guys in the mix every single week. They haven't been getting over the line. I know it's been a little frustrating, but how have you been feeling in the fall swing? How have you just been feeling in general with the golf bets?
Yeah, it's been a very like a vibey type betting fall. It wasn't too analytical. It was more like who am I seeing on the board, the numbers, the how are they playing, the vibes, just like who can maybe win, who can maybe mix. And I've been getting the dudes to mix from all the way from the first or second week in the fall down to the last 2 weeks. I've had infinite guys, 54-hole leaders, 36-hole leaders, just haven't gotten over the line. But like, that's the thing. I could have had 3 winners this fall just as easily as I could have had 0. It was just like small lines, but that's the sport we know and love, and we are here for, and you guys are listening for. So it's been good to watch. I've had some sweats, which is all I can ask for, but haven't gotten across the line yet.
Yeah, no, that's what it's all about. There's nothing you can do about a guy getting over the line, but getting guys in the mix on a weekly basis. That's what we try to do. I also feel like usually we do what? We go for an 8X card. That means we're betting 6 to 8 guys, depending on the week. I think if you took all the guys that I bet in the fall swing, let's say, that's 40 guys, 50 guys, whatever. I think it was probably the highest stretch of guys making the cut. It was like every single event, my entire card was making the cut. At Goat got it over the line, so at least there was one winner in there. But I just feel like I'm seeing the board pretty well. They haven't, same as you, like they haven't necessarily come home.
Good
but
vibes.
the fall to me is, I guess I had 1 year I had a pretty good fall, hit a couple winners, but like, I mean, we can go through the winners here. Let's just do that really quick. Let's recap what took place in the fall, because I think it'll lead into some discussion and also ties into what we're just talking about. Also, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube and you're like, it looks like Adam's in a boots like setup, like he's at a hotel, he's got the boots on the ground. I do have boots on the ground in San Francisco, which there's no golf in San Francisco this week, Jerz. I have been out here since November. I've got some stuff going on out here on the West Coast. I'll be in position for the West Coast swing out here.
Harding Park should be in a few years, I would think. So you're just early prep.
Maybe I should. Okay, so yeah, there's within probably 20 minutes, I can get to Harding Park and Olympic Club, which I both believe are on the docket in the years to come. So some preemptive boots, some early scouting. I'm getting the PGA Tour schedule pulled up here because I don't
Yeah,
even remember
definitely
what
need to get
events
some
we're doing.
early Mexican food reviews for the next few
Oh,
years because the
seriously.
listeners will
I
know. I
I
mean, you're
know
in California, so
we've already been texting about it. We've been talking about you coming out here, spending some time kicking it around sometime during the West Coast swing. The Mexican food situation here in the great city of San Francisco, unbelievable. I've been here for a month. I think I've probably had 15 burritos, maybe 8 breakfasts
wow.
at normal time of the day. It has been from a Mexican food perspective a revelation to come out here.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. But if I learned one thing from you, when in doubt, you get Mex. So that's just if you need to know what to eat tonight, just get Mex. If you're thinking about it, just get Mex.
Yeah, and that's a Boots tradition. And maybe we at some point on here we might do some Boots review because people have been asking. They've been saying, "What was the
Yeah.
best shot you saw with Boots? What do you see with Boots?" And we'll get there. Wanted to start with the fall swing. I'm back in 22-23 where Max Homa won the Fortinet. By the way, did you see Max? Did you see my tweet from the weekend regarding
I
Max Homa?
did. Yeah, Max was longer odds than guys like Denny McCarthy and Minwoo Lee. Was that the case?
Yeah, Denny McCarthy. It was even hard for me to choose because I was on Thursday night. I had some action on the ISPS Honda Australian Open. Lucas Herbert was up like
Shut
20
up.
shots after the first 2 rounds. I thought it was going to be a shoe-in victory for me. It was not. A guy who's never played professional golf before or ever won an event at the amateur or college level was able to defeat Lucas Herbert. Lucas Herbert also will be receiving probably his full payout, whatever he got paid for finishing like T5 at the Australian Open, he'll be paying it back in fines to the good people of Australia and to the DP.
What
Because I've
happened?
never heard a guy get caught on hot mics just going off harder than Lucas Herbert. He was screaming fuck at the top of his lungs multiple times. And then after that, because he kept missing putts and he was like legitimately as angry as any golfer I've ever seen in my entire life on the course. Next hole, par 5, he's going for it in 2. Puts it on the front of the green from like 250. Not a bad shot. Takes his iron, I think he's hitting like 3 iron, over his head and tomahawks it so hard into the ground that it went at least like 8 inches deep into the ground. So Lucas Herbert was a little upset.
Matt Wallace did that a few weeks ago too. The DP's they need to pay their fines. That's crazy.
Yeah. But what kicked that off was me saying I was checking the odds on the Australian Open to see what Lucas Herbert was. He was minus odds going into the weekend. He did not play well. In the process, I was on DraftKings and I was under the golf, odds where they've got the different events, and I saw golf specials, and I was like, "That's speaking my language. Let me see what this is all about." It's all the odds to win a major next year, both the yes market. They don't have the no market. And I'm scrolling through, and it's a lot of guys. It's like a lot of the odds are like crazy low. It's like even Vic is still like some terrible number, and Scottie obviously is like ridiculous, and all the guys who you would be interested in. Unbettable numbers, like completely outrageous. But as I'm scrolling and nothing's really jumping out to me, I'm scrolling, I see Max Homa. It says 50-1. And I go, didn't I just see Denny McCarthy? And didn't I just see Alex Noren? And didn't I just see Minwoo Lee? And there was a bunch of guys. So basically I had like 8 to 10 guys to choose from that had probably never won a tour event, had never done anything. They're lower odds to win a major next year than Max Homa. I think we were the founders of the Max Homas broken and going back to the Corn Ferry.
That was you. You Vic Lap. That's all you. Vic Lap that because that was one of the best takes of the year.
Yeah, I will. I'll take that. I'll say thank you for that, and it's because Max, my guy. I want none of this. I think you obviously then got into an incident with Max as well. We've had a lot of Max things happen here, but when I saw that, it was like such outrageous. Like Max we know he's playing bad, but this even like blew my mind. I was like,
yeah,
the books, DraftKings, and DraftKings has to know that they're going to take bets on Max Homa. He's a popular guy. He's someone that people like get behind. That said something to me that DraftKings, and is DraftKings set the best lines all the time? No. Or is that someone who I would like look to be like, oh, DraftKings said this, so let's like just believe it. But for them to go out there and have Max at longer odds to win a major than some of these guys just speaks to like how off the rails things have gone.
Yeah, that was absurd. I thought that was a mistake or like a joke when you first said it. And I looked myself. So shout out Max, just like clearly not anywhere near where he need to be. And I mean, is he playing this event? I don't even know if he is.
No, he's defending his title at the Nedbank.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you got it. When you win at the Nedbank, you know you have to get back over there. And
some people are wondering because that I believe was Max's last win. He came over here last year in to December, and he won. And then he came out, he played all right to start the year. Obviously, he played good at the Masters, but then the driver yips came in roughly around right after the Masters. Where was I going with this? Oh, this is where I was going with this. My take was going to be that Max winning on the DP may be the driving force of
bad for his career. Bad for his career. It's, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. We never would have thought about that back then because it was just Max winning a golf.
We thought we was like, dope. Max went to South Africa and won a tournament. Like, that's sick.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to wonder if that was the sign that we should have seen that things were probably taking a turn.
It checks out. You definitely do. I mean, look at Rory McIlroy. He wins on the DP World Tour. He wins in Dubai, and he can't do
And
it
what
over
does
here,
he
so.
not do? Win majors. So that's why DraftKings saw the chance to make it 50-1. It all makes sense now. This is why we need to be talking. This is why we need to be on the pod, because there's mysteries in the world of golf. But once we get on here, we start talking about them. They make sense. That was a long-winded way to get to the fall swing. This came up because I went to the fall tab, but I was on last year. This year, the winner of the Pro Core, Jerz, Patton Kizzire. If I gave you 50 picks at the Pro Court, would you have picked Patton Kizzire to win?
I would not have picked Patton Kizzire to win, but quote about Patton Kizzire. This is a crazy quote. Our guy, friend of the program, Willie, said that when he gets hot, there's no hotter iron player in the world than Patton Kizzire.
Wow.
Quote, I think it's because they played back and forth in Bama growing up, but quote, but he said it as when he gets hot, there's no hotter big man with an iron than Patton Kizzire.
Okay. So we're like last week, for example, in Australia, Mark Leishman would be a big man with an iron. Who else falls in the big man with an iron category besides Leash?
I think there's like a threshold of like if you're over a certain height. I'm not sure. I think
would Rahm qualify?
Oh, for sure. Rahm's a pretty big guy. He's a pretty good golfer too. So I mean,
Willie, that's impressive. Patton Kizzire, when you get Rahm in peak form and Patton Kizzire in peak form. I mean, how many pro courses Rahm won?
You're not wrong. And I mean, multi-time PGA Tour winner, Patton Kizzire, out of nowhere.
3-time. And too. So here's my question, because I think part of when we talk about the fall, I want to project to see if we think it, because, at the end of the day, not as many people paying attention in the fall, but we're using this as scouting. We're learning about these guys. Is there anything that we can use come the new year? Because Patton now, all these guys are going to be in all the tournaments next year for the most part. So when Patton last won back in the day, he then won again. I think he won in the fall, and then he won Sony, or he won something right out of the gates in the next season. If Patton Kizzire is hot right now, and he gets hotter with his irons than anyone, do you think he could mix early next year?
I don't know if I'd even say. I don't even know if I said mix. I would say like some top 20s, some top 10s, kind of like Nico Etch. Just like he mixed a little bit, but he was just consistent, like top 5s, top 10s. Some of them were a little bit backdoor, but just like solid golf. I could see that, but I'm not going to say Patton's going to just get in there even early in the fall, even in some weak fields. I wouldn't say.
Then there was the Prez Cup. How did you feel about the Prez Cup and what took place there? Obviously, the U.S. Got off to a barnstorming start. It was almost over before it started. Then day 2, complete comeback, 5-5 after the first 2 days, and then the U.S. kind of put the pedal down once they took it seriously and stopped playing the guys who aren't good at golf. And over the course of enough golf,
some questionable decisions in the President's Cup, which I think everyone would agree with. There were some corny moments, but I'm happy the USA won. They kind of got out to that start, let them come back a little bit, but then they took care of business when they needed to. Some clutch things happened, but overall, I would say the Press Cup was a fun watch.
Yeah, I didn't watch as much as I thought I was probably going to watch. At the end of the day, there was I will say, the lasting memory for me is Siwoo, because that was some of the funniest clips.
So cool.
I didn't see it live. Like, I wasn't watching that day. I saw people talking about it on Twitter. Like, everybody obviously was watching. It was like going off. The first time I watched the clip of him holding out the bunker shot and then running around the room with the green with Tom and then doing the Steph Curry celebration, I was laughing. I probably watched it 30 times in a row. It was one of the best golf videos I think I've ever seen. Yeah,
that was good stuff. Siwoo loves that shit. So does Tom, obviously. So it's good to see them boys having fun.
Tom's playing this week. You think Tom's got any life at the Hero?
Yeah, Tom's a golfer who and like the thing with the Hero is I think he got a care. And I think Tom. I know Tom cares a lot. It's a golf
Especially
course that makes sense for Tiger.
well, and what have we said often about Tom? When he's playing with Scottie or against Scottie, you go to Tom because he then enters a different sphere. He's not going to win. I don't think he's going to beat Scottie. But I do like the fact that, to your point, A, Tom just always takes it seriously, and B, if it's a Scottie, 2-1. But we'll get to here in the second. But yeah, so then Kevin Yu, speaking of the Prez Cup, Kevin Yu gets snubbed from the Prez Cup team, comes out at the Sanderson. Yeah. To me, Kevin Yu is one of the more interesting fall winners. I guess let's talk about Kevin Yu. Let's do this. Kevin Yu and Matt McCarty, because the next week Matt McCarty won the Black Desert Classic. I had Glover that week, who since generational iron play performance that week wasn't able to get it done. You had Stevie Yeggs, I believe, who I thought was probably going to take it. But no, Matt McCarty, fresh off the Corn Ferry. I think he's a luck box player, Jerz. You were pushing back on that. I think Kevin Yu is less of a luck box player. Kevin Yu is the opposite of a luck box. Kevin Yu did luck box to win the Sanderson because he amazingly gained like infinity strokes. But where I was going with this was Kevin Yu, Matt McCarty, they're now both winners on the PGA Tour. Kevin Yu's been kind of a ball striking stud who every now and then when he makes some putts, it finishes top 5. He's played good in some big events like Torrey. Matt McCarty just cleaned up last year on the Corn Ferry, hits the ball very straight, makes a shit ton of putts. Going forward, who earns more career money between Kevin Yu and Matt McCarty?
It's a great question. I'm going to go with Kevin Yu because I did back up McCarty. I did back up his ball striking. I thought he was just an overall solid player. But I did not like what I saw from McCarty after his wins. I thought he got ignorant and complacent. Like, you're a young guy. You're going to take 4 weeks off after you win once? Like, no,
is that
go
what he did?
play. I don't know if it was exactly 4, but he played the next week and missed the cut. Then he took so long off.
Yeah, he played the Shriners because he was in the same group.
Then it might have been 4 weeks after that.
Yeah,
he missed the cut at the Shriners, and then I was like, dude, and he stopped playing because there was a bunch of events in between then, and he didn't play. And he finally came back. I was like,
and even looking at his stats, because like that's the thing about the Corn Ferry is like you go on Data Golf, we don't have any stats for these guys, so it's hard to know like really what they do. He drives it nice, like he hits it straight. He's not accurate.
He said that.
Yeah, accurate player, but like the week he won, he just got hot as shit with the putter. That was what he did on the Corn Ferry. I think he's gonna be one of those guys that like. This is why it's a tough question because I think Kevin Yu is the better. Like if somebody was going to mix in like a major, I could see Kevin Yu mixing in a major just because like he stripes. But McCarty with his game, like you hit it straight, make a ton of putts. There's enough courses on tour like Travie and JDC. Like there's courses where if you're good at that, you're just gonna mix. So I don't know, but I think I'd agree with you, and I'd go Kevin Yu earns more money on the PGA Tour, and he did earn it looks like an extra $18,000 versus Matt McCarty for his win. So already had to start there. Kevin Yu. Then Posty, probably the highlight of the fall swing. JT Poston, our guy, my personal friend, of course, connected with him at the Players. BK was on him. He was 50-1 or so. He had been playing not very good golf at all, Jerz. But want to know what Posty does? Posty grinds. He's a hard worker. He was probably at home working, and he just shows up and shoots infinity under par. I think you also mix super tough there. There's a wave split at the Shriners, but Posty victorious in the fall and back into the Masters.
Yeah, I had Gim that week out of the bad wave, so that's probably a win for me. I can count that one for sure. So that was back-to-back runner-ups or close to back-to-back runner-ups. I'm not sure which came which. But yeah, Gim I'm not mad about because he really fought. He ended up losing by one stroke, and he was like tried his heart out. He really did. The conditions were tough. I was there on Thursday for the first day.
And that's right.
That win was a joke, like truly insane. So yeah, no beef with that week. It was the vibes were good that week, so I'm not really mad.
And I will say this, and I think your call of Gim is probably the best call of the fall because of the fact that Gim pops in the models every week. And Gim stripe show every week. It's never a question of if Doug Gim is going to hit great golf shots because that's what Doug Gim does every week. But everybody knows that about Doug Gim. And lots of people bet him throughout the year. And Doug Gim never finishes even top 10. Like he I don't even know if he had a top 10 for generations before almost winning at Shriners. And it's because he sucks at putting. He's not just bad at putting.
He's bad.
He is terrible at putting. Yeah, his last top 10 before that was in Mexico, where he was T8. But for you to get a positive putting performance because of home game Doug Gim, that's a great call. So that
couldn't get
is
across
me.
the line,
Yeah,
but
let's call for the fall. Call for the fall.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. The next week, I know this one hurt you as well. Nico Echeverria wins the Zozo Championship. To me, this is far and away the most shocking win of the fall by about 1,000,000 miles. I think if you let me choose every player in the field, and maybe not you because you were on Nico Etch the week before. I didn't have eyes on him. You had bet Nico Etch the week before at Shriners. I don't think he played very well. I think the wind got him. This was actually the craziest part amongst many crazy parts about Nico Etch winning the Zozo is before the Zozo, I looked up the guys who had won Zozo before. All of them major champions, Jerz, all of these big name players. And every single winner of the Zozo, which I believe was 4 golfers, had previously gained 4 or more strokes on approach at the U.S. Open that year. And the Zozo is a tough approach play tournament. And obviously the U.S. Open's a tough approach play tournament. And I thought, wow, that's so interesting that every guy had done that. Would you believe me, Jerz, if I told you that the only time the entire year before the Black Desert, which I believe is why you were on him at Shriners, that he had gained over 4 strokes on approach was at the U.S. Open at Pinehurst, Jerz? We were there. We saw Nico Etch.
That's crazy.
5 years in a row, the winner of
the
Zozo
insane.
And Nico Etch did it. Unbelievable.
And after that happened, did you go back and check and see if he gained or?
Yeah. Well, no. So I didn't think about Nico Etch at all. I did see that he'd hit good at Black Desert, but I had no, why would anybody think that Nico Etch was going to win unless they had this stat, which I'd put the stat up on the site. And usually when I put a stat up like that, I'll go through and I'll list off the players who fit that.
Who did that.
But it was the fall. I was in Mexico. I was on vacation. And so I didn't do that part. So I didn't know. But then after, I think the second round when Nico Etch was either winning or was playing really good, I was like, and I do this for all tournaments. When a guy starts playing good, I kind of look them up. I look where they were in the model. I just get a sense of who were they, I think that had a chance.
Did it make sense? Yeah.
And when I looked up and saw that from Nico Etch, I instantly was flabbergasted.
That's tough for sure. That is tough. And it hurt. So that hurts you, hurt me. I can't believe that happened. That's crazy.
And then I want to find the clip. Maybe we'll go back and find this over this December timeframe. There's a time because I saw Nico Etch play with Posty, these 2 guys, winners back to back, at the Players when we got separated at the Players, and I watched Posty, Harris Ings, and Nico.
Shout out Ryan Fox.
Yeah, Ryan. That's the moment of the year without a doubt. Ryan Fox ace on 17 at Sawgrass, unbelievable to witness that. But we had been separated. I had just seen the Fox ace about 30 minutes before what I'm about to say. I'm watching Nico play in this group. And I remember talking about it on the pod because we've talked about Nico Etch in random tournaments, especially on Bermuda. And I was like, this dude strikes. Nico Etch in person, generational ball striker. So I wasn't shocked that he won in the sense that I know by watching him, I was like, this guy looks really good. But I was just shocked that he actually won the Zozo because it's insane.
I agree. I wasn't going to bet him back-to-back weeks, but I had a really strong case to bet him the week before, and honestly to go back to him because I had a ton of room. He was a massive long shot, but I just didn't do it. It happens. You just don't bet the guy back-to-back weeks, and I didn't. And yeah, it made a ton of sense. He missed the cut at the Shriners, making 12 birdies. That's unheard of in 2 rounds, making 12 fucking birdies. This is how bad the wind was. So
and on Nico, to keep shouting out Nico Etch. Obviously, then he played great the next week, almost won.
Yeah.
In Bermuda? No, not Bermuda. In
Mexico?
Yeah, in Mexico. Well, we'll get there in a second because I obviously was happy with how things turned out there. But what I was going to say about Nico Etch is he played good there. And then I had him at RSM, and I wasn't following very closely. I was moving out here to SF, and I've been doing stuff out here. But he has the ability, every time he would never birdie the holes you're supposed to birdie. He would just bogey a par 5 that's easy. And then he would just rip off 5 birdies in a row.
I saw that. He did that multiple times during the fall.
Can get hot when he gets going. And he should have won RSM. He had it. It was a close finish, but it was down to him, Mav, the amateur. Why am I blanking on his name?
Luke
Clance, and then Berger. And Nico Etch got out in front, and I was like, Nico Etch has all the dog in the world recently. He might just win this. And then he bogeyed 18, which cost him the tournament ultimately, and so did Luke Clance. But Nico Etch, can Nico Etch do stuff next year? Because you like him on Bermuda. Dude. That's when I like him best. So him winning the Zozo was extra weird because of that.
And in Mexico too, on Friday, he was the 36-hole leader, and he made like a six birdie run on Friday.
Yeah,
stud, dude.
It's like if you need straight driving and then just get toasty hot, like Nico Etch. And there's events early in the year next year, like where I'm sure Nico. He's going to be popular and he'll never win. He's going to be like Sony. He'll be popular and Honda.
He could be a 4-time winner, like easily.
Yeah, he's good.
Which would be insane. Yeah, he's good.
At the end of the day, he has dog. Because how do you measure dog? Funny. A guy who's not actually good at golf, but when he gets into the mix, Pablo is the perfect example. That's why Pablo is
Billy Ho.
Yeah, you want guys, especially if you're betting long odds, guys.
Max.
That's what you're looking for. Max. Yeah, like guys who aren't actually good at golf. And Max became good at golf for some period of time, but it's unknown on average. Is Max good at golf? You look, we can't say for certain. But Nico Etch has 100% earned dog. If he had won the RSM for me in like comeback fashion, because he was 45-1 going into the final round, and he took the outright favoritism at one point in the final round. That's dog going from 45 to 1.
He's definitely top 5 on the list already in his career.
Yeah, live dog rankings. And we'll do another podcast in December. We'll do our one and done.
I think that's got to be one and done dog rankings and full Viking Cup preview and update.
Full Viking Cup 2025 preview, because I texted you this. Because I've been betting the DP, looking at the DP. There's some nice Nords and Swedes coming up onto the DP. Not to mention 3 of the 10 cards, I believe, coming over from the DP World Tour to the PGA Tour are on the Viking Cup team. Rasmus, obviously, who's taken his game to the next level. Excited to get Rasmus onto the tour. Who else was on there?
Norgard.
Nicholas Norgard, generational driver of the golf ball, will probably mix it Tory. He's going to, do you think? So hold on. We're going all over the place. But that was what
over under 36 hole leads for Nicholas Norgard.
Next year on tour?
2.5.
I was going to say 2, so I'll take the under, but I would say 100% chance that he holds a 36-hole lead on the PGA Tour. 100%. And of course, where like driving matters, he's going to light it up. But I was just going to go to the guys who came over or got their DP cards, because obviously last year, instantly, it was year of the DP. Pavs was winning. Guys from the DP, almost Sammy Valley, Dietz, like early last year. So I think we need to talk about it now to get out ahead of it. So that we have our minds in the right place once they get over. I'm gonna look for them here in a second. Well, I looked that up. Rafa Comps. Talk about the other winners. Obviously, I was on Eck at WWT. Shout out to Eck. That was awesome. Generational stripe show. Very similar to Eck in that when it gets, or to Nico Etch, when Eck gets hot, he gets really hot. Thoughts on Eck, like long term, because I think he's got some real potential. Rafa Camps was one of the great stories of the fall, and then Mav1, who's your guy. Talk about those 3 while I look up these DP World Tour.
Yeah, I mean Eck, when he was playing well, it made sense, and he made a ton of birdies. I like Eck going forward. That was a great call, honestly. I feel like more people should have got there with Eck. And then the week after that, we had the Bermuda Villegas. I had Andrew Novak, I believe, who
Rafa Camps, not Villegas. Villegas won last year. You were doing the same thing I did when I looked up last year.
Yeah,
it was Rafa Camps at the most miracle win of all time, I think.
Right. Yeah, and that was when Novak finished second, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So I had Novak that week, and that was a good story though. So shout out for you watched the Camps interview and him talking.
It was a beautiful moment.
So therefore, I wasn't mad about that, because I'm like, all right, I got another guy in the mix. My win is coming soon. Shout out Andrew Novak, 30-1. And then the week after that, we had the RSM Classic. No, we're missing one too. That WWT, I had Justin Lauer, who blew that.
Oh, so that's what I had. That's what I had. Eck. But I will say, Lauer is a 0 dog player. At the end of the day, like negative dog player.
He did not deserve to win that. He chipped in 3 times.
We love a beautiful story. Like Rafa Kamp's beautiful story. It was very emotional. Lauer, and so now I'm going to shit on Lauer, and I apologize, but we speak from the heart. When we have a take, we're going to give it. Lauer, they showed the video of him during the final round because Eck was a couple shots back. I was watching. They showed Lauer. Yeah, he's crying, saying what it would mean to win before the final round. I love the passion. I know that's what he feels, but did that hurt your confidence level when you saw that he was crying before the final round?
Yeah, it gave me like Anthony Richardson saying he's taking himself out of the game vibes. Like, it was just not a good scene from Justin Lauer. I didn't think he was going to win. And then obviously during the fall swing, you can't watch the golf until like they're on hole 18. So I had to listen on Sirius XM. And it was like, oh, Lauer has missed another green. And he chipped in again. He chipped in 3 times on the front 9 or through the first like 11 holes. So I was like, all right, this is either like super lucky or just not going to go away. And he just missed too many greens from like from the middle of the fairway.
He also laid up on that par 4, the drivable one.
Dumb.
Every other guy was literally hitting like 3-wood onto the green. Because as you know, when you're sweating an outright, you're kind of doing the math in your head, like what holes do guys have left? Are they easy hold, hard hold?
Right.
And Eck was playing generational golf. He even said himself he doesn't know if he's ever played better. He was hitting it to 5 feet on every single hole. I think he could have shot 59. Like, he kind of choked on 18.
Yeah.
But he was playing unbelievable. But when Lauer got to that hole and I saw him pull the iron out, my confidence level in like Eck winning skyrocketed. Because I already knew they didn't have dog, but that just showed me this guy isn't being serious about winning. And he couldn't hit his iron. So what was he doing? It makes no sense. How could you make that? Like, you're crying the day before because you want to win so bad, and then you make that dumb of a decision. It's like those two things don't go together. How can you be that serious about winning and do that? It was mind blowing.
It's like it's just tough. It's like Justin Thomas laying up on hole 10 at Riviera every time. It's just things that make you mad. That's one of them. And like, I don't know why he did that. And then we had the RSM. And shout out Luke Clanton. Good at golf. Just good at golf.
Great at golf. What do you think? How many do you think Luke Clanton wins a major in his career?
Can he beat Nick Dunlap?
That's a good question.
He's beaten him before, but in like on a big stage. We'll have to see.
That's
a parameter.
Why you listen to this pod. This is why we love golf, because Luke Clance and Nick Dunn, like, battling down the stretch of a tournament. Can you imagine something more elite?
It's going to be the next 15 years. We're in a good spot. I know that golf is crazy right now and like separating, but we might be coming back. That's a different story. But we got some studs, and they're going to save us. Truthfully.
Yeah, Luke Clance.
We have to see Luke Clance really prep for a week, though, to get a full picture on his confidence in game, because what we saw from Dunlap is obviously a generational story that we've gone through before. We have to see if Clanton can even touch half of that stuff.
Right. Well, it's almost an unfair comparison, because we know that Nick Dunn, I've already penciled him in for Jack's record. And he's playing the Hero Jersey. Want to know who believes in Nick Dunn? Tiger Woods, because he's inviting him to the Hero World Challenge. That speaks.
Great bet this week, by the way.
Yeah, 100%. But what I was going to say is, like, where I want to see both of them is playing more majors, playing harder golf courses. We've seen a little bit of that from Nick Dunn. I think Nick Dunn obviously can play at any course. Luke Clance has mainly done it on unserious golf courses so far, and he does it because his driving is legitimately better. It's so good, and he can hit it like. It's a joke, and that should work at every tournament. Like, that's going to work everywhere. So I'm excited to see them play more difficult golf courses. And this leads me to another take that's developed during the fall. I mean, we've got guys like Clance. Another guy who's playing in the Hero this week. He's kind of your guy's Ludwig. I've been against Ludwig. I've been saying he's overhyped forever. I've been an anti-Lud guy. However, I do bet him all the time, and he always plays terrible. So I'm both against him and for him. But was McCarty winning? Was Kevin Yu winning? All these guys who now have Rafa Camps, Maverick McNeely, all these guys now have an equal number of wins as Lud. I know he's been injured, but what's state of the union on Lud, considering all the other young studs like Nick Dunn, who has 2 wins? How do we feel?
It wasn't great from what we saw from him at the RSM. I do think he'll be fine. I think he'll win. For sure. I'll make it 1.5. I think he wins multiple times.
Next season?
1.5 minus money, minus 110. Minus 115. Next season. Yes. 2024.
So through the Tour Championship?
Yeah, I'm going to give him 2.
Lud? Well, this kind of leads into who's even going to be on the tour next year. Because if any more guys leave, Scottie is going to be like plus 300 in every event. Do you think Tony, it sounds like Tony is Hundo gone, which not a surprise because he was almost hundo gone.
We talked
He was
about
hundo
him not
gone.
caring for
Yeah.
the longest time.
Great
Not a
take.
surprise.
That is up there with the max take. You declared so early in the season because you're like in majors and everything. I would always talk up Tony, and you always went to like he's unserious. He doesn't care about golf, and that is now we know that to be true.
Does not care. Yeah. So good for Tony. Support your family.
But what I was going to say, this is
I'm actually going to cut that.
Completely uneducated take. I mean, I have my reasons for why I'm going to say it, but it's 99.99999% wrong. I'm worried about Colin. Are you worried about Colin
Why?
going to LIV?
Going to LIV. I think you meant like as a golfer.
Oh no, Colin is a golfer. He might win 2 majors next year. I'm all.
Wait, what's the rationale behind that? I'm not.
He's not playing the hero, and he always plays the hero, and he plays good at the hero. He could win the hero, and Colin's a serious golfer. If I would expect Colin to show up to the hero, he'd want to win. I would have probably single bulleted Colin. I love Colin at this course. So he's not playing. And there's rumors out there of big name, surprising guys going to LIV. I know there always is, but like I'm sure at least one probably will, besides Tony. And Colin fits the type of guy who goes to LIV. He's already won his majors. He doesn't really have anything else to play for. He can't beat Scottie at golf, so he can't win on the PGA Tour. Anyway, I hope he doesn't. The reason I'm bringing it up is not because I think it's going to happen, but because I'm so afraid of it happening, and I've now started to convince myself that it's a possibility. He scares me the most. Like, of the guys who could possibly leave the PGA Tour that aren't Scottie and Rory, because those are obviously the biggest of the big names, who else from the tour leaving would be like the most detrimental, both from a betting and like competitiveness of the tour standpoint?
If someone left that I'd be really sad about, it would be Xander, truthfully.
Oh, that'd be
tough. I don't.
He also
I don't
fits
know.
the description.
Tommy, I feel like if Tommy will go, if Tommy and Colin go, say goodbye to LA Golf Club. Like that'd be a tough.
Yeah,
for them to recover.
That's the strongest positive for Colin, is I would say that he's got the Tiger Woods or the TGL, but so does Xander. Xander was on Fallon the other night. That was outrageous. Did you see that?
I watched. I couldn't watch more than
Cam Young, your boy, had earned at least. Matt Fitz is a major champion. Xander's obviously a major champion. Ricky, like, not a serious golfer, but a man of the people. Like, that's fine to have Ricky up there. CY getting to go on national TV alongside those guys, that had to feel good. That's basically the closest he's ever come to hitting an outright. Like, that had to feel.
I know, yeah,
good.
I mean, massive for the streets of New York. They had to have been buzzing watching.
Like I said, I'm out here in SF. I still have my apartment in New York. Like, it was palpable.
For sure.
I had already left. I was out here on the West Coast, but people were texting me. They were saying, like, can you feel the energy?
Yeah.
CY is going to be on Fallon. Get over to Rockefeller Center. That was amazing. That was awesome. Okay. So that was the fall, but I told you I was going to look up the 10 guys from the DP. We can tie it back even to this week. You got the Ned Bank this week. I've been betting the DP Jerz. Billy Ho hitting for me at the BMW. I don't think we've talked on the pod since the BMW PGA.
Dude. That was a bad week for me.
Oh, earned himself.
Bad week for me.
He earned himself my guy for life. That was awesome. So good, but it was also devastating. I know it was devastating for you, but
that was a great tournament. That was awesome.
The BMW PGA, like, Wentworth is so sick. I wish that it got more. I mean, the DP this time of year is sick because there's BMW PGA, and then they played Royal County Down, which was an absolute electric factory. Like, that got me to a level of hyped for Boots, Royal Ports.
Did Rasmus win that?
Yeah, and that's where I was going. So, like,
horrible week for me too. Fuck.
Yeah,
Rory.
Rasmus came back and won there. Then what else happened on the DP? Oh, Rom battled up against Hidalgo. That was like,
dude, that was so sick.
Yeah, that
was so sick.
Rory won the championship. That was
obviously
vintage Rory. I saw people. What's your take? I saw people saying that made it like a great year for Rory. No, how could it be? What is your? What would you?
I think. Well, he's obviously nominated for PGA Tour Player of the Year, and I think that win in Dubai should get him PGA Tour Player of the Year.
That should count.
So, I mean, I think it was good enough for Rory. Like, you win in Charlotte, you win in Dubai. Those aren't things he usually does. So just give him that trophy.
Yeah. When you consider the fact that he won in Dubai, he won Quail, and he didn't win a major. that's never happened for Rory before. He always does the opposite of those types of things. So in that sense, I would think he's different. But here's the 10 guys who are coming over from the DP on tour next year. Oh, one of them, I'll start with this guy. Paul Waring winning Abu Dhabi. Did you see that?
Did you see that?
You know Paul Waring, the guy who uses the stand-up putter, has like a beard?
Stripes. He pops in the models.
He pops in the models. He hadn't like won on tour in years. He won Abu Dhabi, which was like a big event.
Yeah, he's old as fuck.
He beat Rory. He beat Lowry. Like there was lots of guys mixing, and Paul Waring won. So he's coming over to the tour. So these are the 10 guys coming over to the tour. All our guys automatically. Anything that they do next year, we're going to take credit for. That's how it works. Here's the 10. You tell me the 3. You just give me some high-level thoughts of what you think happens with this, guys. Rasmus is coming over to join Nikolai, who's no longer good at golf. Thristy Law Open champion is coming over. Paul Waring, who I just mentioned. Our boy Jesper Sven, strokes gained prep champion, likely will win the PGA. Nicholas Norgard, who we just talked about. Matteo Mans, who was playing generational golf but no longer is playing good. And then Thor Olesen. And then Rosner's coming over. And then your boy, you hit him, Rikuya Hoshino. And then, of course, generational golfer, future 8-time major champion, up there with Nick Dunn and Luke Clance, Tom McKibben. That is an electric group of golfers who, at the end of the year, FedEx Cup rankings, who finished, what's the top 3 of those guys next year?
I think Rasmus gets in that top 3. I think he does. And I could see Rosner getting in there because he did win Oak Hill. Was that Oak Hill he won?
No, he won at Royal Liverpool, I think, the Open. Didn't he win the Open?
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, sorry. It was the Open. I remember last year. He won the Open. So I would say Rosner, Rasmus, and then maybe Norgard's gonna have a few 36-hole leads, so he'll get up.
Yeah,
there.
he'll get points. I agree. I also think Matteo Mans,
he can hit the irons up.
He heated up and cooled down, but I think once he realized that he had earned his PGA Tour card, because he mixed it BMW PGA, and then he just hasn't done anything since then. He might have just been I don't care anymore. I'm going to rest up and get ready for the next season. I think every single one of these guys is capable of winning a tour event, except I don't think Rikuya could win one, but he can heat up. He could shoot 59.
First round leader guy. He's a first round leader guy for sure.
For sure. I think all these guys.
We have to talk about with this top 10. We have to talk about, which I know you know where I'm going with this, the greatest collapse in the history of sports. Sebastian Soderberg not getting his PGA Tour card. It may be a worse collapse than him losing.
The
Scandi Mixed, because he had a massive lead, first place out of the DP World Tour guys to make it to the PGA Tour, and once he lost the Scandi Mixed, he fell off the face of the planet and narrowly missed his PGA Tour card. So I don't know how Soderberg recovers. He's 35-1 this week, which is a good number on Sebastian. But he was a true lock to get to the PGA Tour card. I don't even know if the math would have said he couldn't get the. It was insane.
At one point this summer, this is insane. As of the Irish Open, which was as of the BMW PGA, through round 1 of the BMW PGA, which was in late September, and it's only early December, his 25 round strokes gained total average was in the top 25 on the entire earth, and his approach play was it best? Tied for first. I think he was tied with Scottie and during the Volvo Scandi Mixed for the best approach play in the world of golf, and he didn't earn his card. You are so right. That is the greatest collapse in the history of sports.
I've never seen anything like it. When I looked at the final standings, I was like, oh, they missed Soderberg. He was a lot. He fell off the face of the planet. I mean, rightfully so. That was. I remember that might have been one of the biggest Boots moments, in the car, sweating the soccer game, sweating the
French Open
Scandi Mixed. That's not soccer, the French Open tennis. Yeah. On the way to Mid Pines.
Oh, Mid Pines. I dream about Mid Pines. It was so nice. What happened was after he choked the Scandi mix and missed the shortest putt in the world and lost
Stop
to
playing.
Lynn Grant, 2-time DP World Tour winner, Lynn Grant, who only can play good on the DP. I always want to bet her on the LPGA. Also, shout out Extended Wrist. He's been absolutely in fuego in the Discord. Shout out Extended Wrist. But he finished T2 on June 9th. And then he didn't tee it up again until September 8th at the Omega European Masters. He literally broke his brain. And because of that 3-month stretch, he didn't play enough. Like, all he had to do was show up and make like one cut, and he would have earned enough money to get his PGA Tour card. That meltdown and the following sadness. Shout out Seb Sodas, 35-1. You think it's worth a look this week?
Coastal Carolina legend. So yeah, I think he can make it happen.
I think he'll bounce back.
He's got to. He's got to take. Yeah, he's got to.
Maybe he goes to Cleeks.
That's where he should go.
That's where he should go. Cleeks.
If we get Dietz and Cleeks Dietz and Sebastian on the Cleeks with Moronk, that is a Viking.
That's the start of something special. And then they grab like one of the Hogard twins, and you're looking at a formidable LIV squad. Tony's going to have his own team apparently, so we're going to have even more teams to bet on next year. That would be exciting there on LIV. But and also before we get to the hero, there's rumors that LIV is going to team up with the DP, and let me tell you right now, Jerz, that I couldn't possibly be more supportive of LIV and the DP teaming up, because as we've talked about many times on this pod, the DP makes no sense in any of the things that they do whatsoever. And LIV does a lot of things that make no sense whatsoever. And we call those things out on the pod all the time. But LIV also has great golfers on the LIV Tour. Nobody can deny that. And we start getting the LIV guys playing in more of the DP events. Obviously, Brooks, if he starts doing that, will easily win the Grand Slam because Brooks honed his craft on the DP. He starts getting comfortable over there. I'm all for it. I love it. It would make for, I'm sure, like the BMW PGA, the LIV guys would play. They already kind of do, but we'd get even more of them. Like, what's your take? Because I think it makes so much sense. Like, why not? Let's do it.
Well, I mean, I know something's coming. That whether it's a merger with the PGA, something big is coming. Like a tour teaser, something cool is going to happen. Like your favorite band's announcing something sick. Just get ready for something. Get ready for something to happen because it's happening. So I don't know what exactly, but from what I'm hearing, I do think some cool shit is about to go down sooner than later.
There you had it.
And I'm down. Like I want it to happen. Obviously,
47 minutes in on the Silly Season Part 2 Hero World Challenge take. Matt Gannon, Jerz, boots on the ground down there. I mean, you are technically boots on the ground with like the golf scene. Like you're down in Florida. You have boots there.
Yeah.
And you're reporting something's happening. I believe you. I have no reason to doubt that. I'm excited. And all I'm saying is if it is DP and the LIV teaming up, sign me up. I'm all for it. And what I was thinking and what I like about it, and I have no background on this, so this could easily be wrong. It would make sense for LIV to team up with the DP, also team up with the PGA Tour, but then for the LIV guys to earn their cards back on the PGA Tour, they have to finish top 10 on the DP.
Oh, that would be sick. And they wouldn't be able to play like every event because some of them would be like
LIV events
on the like they would be on the same week. That would be cool because it'd be harder for them to get their card.
And then want to know what the DP can do? Is the DP can jack up the points that you get for playing in the big events, and then they can basically kind of rig it in the same way that the PGA Tour kind of does to basically ensure that like the guys only need to play 10 events, and as long as they finish, like top 10 5 times or whatever, which I would think these guys are more than capable of doing, and then we get these guys playing DP events, like it just sounds sick and it makes sense.
Yeah, no, honestly, I agree.
All right, Hero Jerz. This is what the people came for. Probably not, but maybe they did. Maybe there's a lot of people out there betting the hero. To me, I love the hero because it's the first time in a long time that we get to see some of the guys who are actually good at golf, play golf, and it's a great little warm-up. We're not far away from Kapalua. We're not very far away from the West Coast swing. Golf season's almost here, Jerz. This is the time of year where I start to feel like golf season's almost here. And the hero, to me, always kind of sets up the rest of the year, gets me excited. And oftentimes, the guy who wins the hero is good at golf. Scottie Scheffler won it last year. I remember tweeting last year in the middle of the hero because he was chasing down Matty Fitz, I believe, last year at the hero.
Adam.
I tweeted, what if Scottie's even better than he was last year? Because the year before, Scottie played good, but everybody was saying that he wasn't winning. He couldn't putt. He only won a few times, didn't play that great, didn't win the majors, just was a little bit of an off year for Scottie, even though that he played amazing golf. He showed up at the Hero and said, yo, things are going to be different this year. I'm about to go off. And I was just looking at Scottie's profile on Data Golf for the first time in a while the other day, because I look at Data Golf profiles a lot.
Yes.
Just going to last 25 starts and looking at Scottie, he won every tournament. He won every single time, basically, that he played. Famously, we faded him at Pinehurst. That was really the only time that he played bad. But
Vic.
He showed up here last year and played great. Vic, the last couple of years, has played great at the Hero, and obviously Vic then had great seasons. The guys who win the Hero are good golfers. Obviously, Scottie's very likely to win this week, but at a high level, I just like the Hero because I think it's a good tournament. Even though there's 20 guys, I think it's enjoyable to watch. The coverage is good. They put it on the NBC, and it gets me excited for golf. TLDR, Hero, I'm fired up. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fired up for the Hero too, and I think I'm fired up also seeing the odds board. Like, obviously, Scottie's the favorite. Then we have a massive drop off, and truthfully, like, I know it's PC, Justin Thomas, and Ludwig. When you look at the rest of the guys, I guess they're the rightful people to put there, but I would not have like gone into the week and thought those three would be like the second favorite. Truthfully, like, Cantlay, what's he done? JT's had one good week. Ludwig can still coming off of a surgery. I think you're going to get good numbers on guys in a short field who will definitely mix. So with that being said, I think you could put some names on your card.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like, it's 16 to 25 to 30, 50 to 1 odds. You can bet two guys, or you can add a third if you want to add a long shot. Like, I agree with you from a betting perspective. And I think, like, I will say the hard part about this and why Scottie's like plus 200 or plus 210, besides the fact that he's Scottie, is that this course last year was the first year there was ShotLink stats for this tournament. And I assume there'll be Shot Tracker again this year. It was a tee to green stripe show with driving accuracy. Like, putting didn't matter. It was a tee to green golf course. If you hit it in the fairways, it was a huge advantage. Like, Sepp finished second just because he was striping fairways. Neither guy made that many putts. Scottie and Sepp finished 1-2 and barely gained 4 strokes, or barely gained a stroke putting on the entire week. Like, a spike putting effort's usually 4. They only gained 1. So you almost need to do nothing with the putter here to win the tournament if you're striping tee to green. And Scottie's just obviously at such a different level than these guys at doing that I get why he's the odds that he is, but it's still 2 to 1 to win a golf tournament. He opened at 2. He's drifting a little bit towards like 250. And I think, like,
he hasn't played in a while, so
yeah. And I think last year too, I'm sure Scottie will be just as focused to try to win as many majors as he can next year and to have a great season. I think he obviously came in hungry into that tournament. We saw the results that showed the rest of the year. Even Scottie at 100% focus is, even if he's at 99.9999% focus this week, which he easily could be, I think he's ever so slightly less coming into this. If I had to guess, his hunger might be down ever so slightly. And also the other part of it is last year was a Ryder Cup year. So he at least had something interesting to like play for earlier in the year. Yeah, there's the President's Cup. I don't think Scottie even needs to practice to win and play good at the President's Cup. I agree with you that I think there's some opportunities here. Now, Scottie could win this tournament by 20 shots, but I kind of excited to bet it too. That's all I'm trying to say.
No, I'm with you there. I'm definitely with you there.
Because the next guys are JT, who couldn't win the Zozo, but is obviously a tee to green machine. He can't putt. He also can't drive it very straight, but he did play good here last year. Ludwig is 11 to 1. We just talked about Lud. Those are the next guys. And then Cantlay is there too. Yeah, Pat, I don't think he cares.
I thought Cantlay would be a sneaky guy, but then I didn't think he'd be 11 to 1. I thought he'd be in that next at least 15 range going into the week. Maybe it's because I didn't take a hard enough look at the field, but I thought Cantlay would be sneaky, but I don't think I can get there at 11. And just because he's the second favorite, I'd rather go down and start at like 16 to 20 and like get 4 names in there in a 20-man field.
Want to know, this next stretch of guys to me is interesting because they're all Bermuda specialists and they're all playing pretty good golf. And for the most part, they fit the course because they drive it straight. Not Burns, but he's played well here before. Russ.
Remember when Burns couldn't get up and down here?
Oh, trust me. I had him. That's why I remember him playing good here. He literally had it in his hands, but he couldn't chip. So, and I still would worry about that, honestly. I don't think Sam's improved his around the green play like that much. He's been all right lately, but I don't see him still as like magical around the greens. The guy I really like, who has no chance of winning because he's a zero dog player. He's got a famous caddy. We do love him. He's full of dog. That's Willie, and he's on the bag of Sungjae. This is a Sungjae golf course, Jerz. Hit the ball straight, hit it onto the green with your long irons. And if you miss the green, you need to chip on the tight light Bermuda and do saucy things. I couldn't imagine somebody better suited to do that than our boy Sungjae. You have intel. You're with Willie all the time. Can Sungjae win? Is he focused? He's played the Zozo, or what's the deal?
I don't think he thinks he could win, truthfully. And like that's,
Sungjae
I
or
don't think
Willie?
that would.
You don't think Sungjae
Willie.
thinks that Sungjae can? Willie doesn't think
I
Sungjae
don't think Willie thinks Sungjae can win. Yeah, and he knows that he's the best driver in the world, and he will print those backdoor T8s.
Oh,
and Sungjae does want to win. Sungjae knows that it's important.
So Sungjae's aware that he needs to show some dog. Like Sungjae knows that.
And Willie's basically said that when Sungjae will play well, he'll 3-putt from 15 feet. And I'm like, yeah, like we all see it too. And Willie asked me, is Sungjae a popular golfer? And I'm like, in the DFS markets, yeah, he is. He does well.
Yeah. Because he's a backdoor machine. It's perfect.
But in like outright betting, not really, because he's usually priced too high or too short. And everyone knows that he can't win. And he's like, yeah, like I agree with that. I don't really trust him around that spot because from what I've seen, he makes mistakes when he couldn't. But he's the best lag putt I've ever seen. Put it to 2 feet from 70 feet. And when he gets to 15 feet, how are you 3-putting?
Just smashed it by, yeah.
And we see that year in, year out.
Yeah, and that's like, first of all, that's makes so much sense. And like Willie is right. Like I'm sure Willie wants him to. Like, nobody wants him to win more than Willie does, and so that totally makes sense. And I think that ties into how I feel about him this week, where it's like, to your point, he's 16-1, and like that's not a bad number considering the number of people in the field. But like I long ago declared I would never bet Sungjae below 25-1, and 16-1 is well below 25-1. But with all that being said, if you asked me to draw up a Sungjae golf course, it would look exactly like this golf course. He played it for the first time, I think, either last year or the year before. He's only played here once, but he finished 8th on debut, like clearly just showed up and was vibing. And I don't think Sungjae, maybe Willie would know this, like, does Sungjae even need to practice golf? When Sungjae shows up, I'm sure he just stripes every single time he ever shows up anywhere. Like,
I heard he's been getting after it a little bit in South Korea. He is some intel on Sungjae. He is a Hilton loyalty member. He does not stay in his houses. He only stays in hotels.
Oh, so even when he's over there, that's sick.
Even when he's over in South Korea, he is treated like a prince. He said, outside of the guy on Tottenham, I forget his name. He's the striker.
Son. Yeah.
Outside of the guy on Tottenham, it's like Sungjae Im over there.
Sick.
So like everywhere he goes, it's like it's a party.
Dope.
So who knows how much golf he's been playing? But yeah, I do think this is a Sungjae golf course for sure.
That is awesome. I love Sungjae. Like Sungjae and Willie winning a major would make me happy.
Generation.
I can't think of something that would make me, whether I had money on them or not. If I had a guy who I had money on up against Sungjae and Willie in the final round of a major, I'd probably root for Sungjae and Willie.
Gotta get him that guest list.
Yeah, we'll continue that conversation. But yeah, that's Sungjae, and that's great intel. If you were thinking about Sungjae this week, I'm not sure how you could get better information than that on Sungjae. I'm going to pencil him in for T3. That's where I think Sungjae finishes. I think he's going to play well. It's a Sungjae course. I can't guarantee he plays well all 4 rounds. I think he could get off to a slow start and come firing home with like 12 birdies in the final round. But I expect there to be a round or two where Sungjae just gets absolutely dialed. Burns or Russ, you like them? I know you're a Russ guy. Burns has been playing better. Burns is my guy. I can't bet him, I don't think, because of the chipping incident that we just referenced. I'd be out on him. Russ has no dog either.
Russ, you say it's a Sungjae course, it's damn sure a Russ course then too.
100%.
I think, he's showed up to golf courses that make sense for him without playing them in a while and played well. So I'll go with Russ. Just higher finish.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, Wyndy, Tom, Jason Day.
Tom,
nope,
I like Tom.
My order was all wrong there. Hold on. But yeah, either way, you like Tom?
Yeah, I really do like Tom over a lot of guys. I think Wyndy I could start with my card with Tom because like he cares. He cares a lot. He drives the ball straight. And I feel like he had a really bad year. Not a bad year, he had a down year for Tom. He was visibly upset. So I feel like he's probably grinding in the offseason to get back to where he needs to be.
Yep. I fully believe that he's been grinding. I'm sure he's been playing with Scottie down there in Dallas. They're probably playing all the time. So it's not like he's going to be scared of what Scottie's current form is because he'll know it better than anyone. So yeah, why not Tom? The next, okay, here we go. Now I've got it in order. The DraftKings odds. Day or Theegs? Theegs played absolutely pathetic golf at the Zozo. You like Day?
Yeah, I don't like really either of them, but I'll pick Day. They can make everything.
He's been putting, generational putting from Jason Day.
Yeah,
I don't really like either of them either. A guy I just has been playing really good golf, going under the radar, 28-30 to 1. A guy who wins golf tournaments. The reason he can't win this golf tournament is it's not a national open, but a guy who's won twice this year on tour. He's gone over to the DP. He's been playing great. That's Bobby Mack. Bobby Mack is gaining in every category every time he tees it up. He's clearly a talented player. He always has been. I mean, he's mixing in majors, not mixing, but showing up in majors a while ago. Played great at the Ryder Cup. Finally got it together this year and wins twice on the PGA Tour, including a pretty big event at the Scottish. Like I said, not open season, but I know he's been playing a lot of golf, and I just like it. He's just playing consistent golf, purely on strokes gained total, purely on strokes gained, get the ball in the hole. Bobby Mack at 28-30 to 1. It's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, I do like Bobby Mack. I think he'll have a decent year. I'm not sure if I love him in this style of golf, but we've seen him rattle off more birdies than we've thought in the past. So I could see Bobby Mack playing well. What do you think about Brian Harman? And also, did you know that Brian Harman played on the Asian Tour in October?
Did you know
that's weird?
And Akshay played on the Japanese Tour.
That's also weird.
Yeah, but Harman, I didn't know that he played that, but I feel like Harman's been playing all sorts of events. Like, didn't he play on the DP?
Gained 9 strokes. Yeah, he played. No, he didn't play in the DP recently.
Oh, early in the year, he played the Hero Dubai Desert Classic last in the January.
So Harman gained 9 strokes there, finished T13, T25 at the RSM, gaining in every single category. This is definitely a Brian Harman golf course. Finished T8 here in his only trip. Yeah, last year. So I'm down for some Harman at a long number. So I think what I want to do is get these guys 20 plus, because one of them will finish at least in the top 5, therefore maybe having a sweat. So I'm definitely down for that.
Young gun battle. Actually, who do you like amongst these 3 guys? Because I could see an argument for all of them. Aaron Rai is 28 to 1. He can stripe fairways and tee to green machine, but he's also been playing unserious golf of late. Akshay, it's next to the water. Somebody made a great comment in the Discord. You can view the water. Akshay did just play in Japan and finished in 2nd place, apparently, which surprised me because I follow him on Instagram, and all he's ever posting on Instagram is that he's not practicing golf. So I didn't even know he played, but that was just a couple weeks ago. He went over to Japan, played pretty good, so at least he's got some reps in. I want to know a guy who can stripe fairways and hits his irons good, and is Akshay. And then your boy CY, he's played well here before. Of those guys, Rai, Akshay, and CY, do you like any of them? And if you had to pick one, who would you go with?
Rai for sure. Just the floodgates maybe not open, but he's confident and he cares for sure. So I like Rai. He's definitely going to be hype playing Tiger's event. Also, I want to give a little PSA on Cam Young. Cam Young is done for me. I'm officially, it's a 2025 of no Cam Young, and I can tell you why. Because so I went out to Castle Pines, as you know, and I made the statement: if Cam Young does not play hole 1 at 4 under or better, he's forever blacklist, at least for a full year. He'll be blacklisted for a full year. Yeah. And which hole 1 at Castle Pines was a probably 600 yard, 610 par 5, but long. It played about maybe 100 yards downhill, and it was downwind all of the days. It was a layup hole for the entire field. Cam Young might have played that hole even par, maybe. So, and it was a dogleg left, so it fit his shot shape, easy draw. Cam Young is played like Cam Young. So Cam Young is forever blacklist for 2025.
And the reason I can know that you are sticking to this, and I know that when you make a declaration like this, you will Cam Young could win. Someone could come from the future and they're like, I literally promise you, like, that he's going to win. Like, I've come from the future to tell you this, and you're not going to bet him. Like, when you make a stance, you stick to your stance. And I've already seen it this fall, because even though he pulled out of what tournament was he going to play? In Mexico. He wasn't on the card even before he pulled out of the tournament. And I thought you were going to bet him because, like, it was a normal time to bet Cam Young, 20-something to 1 at the WWT. But you didn't. So I already see signs that you're sticking with that. So you're off of him this week. So I guess that gives you. Oh, you already said Rai is your choice between those 3.
Yeah, Rai out of those 3 for sure.
I agree, because Rai, I think I agree. It's always tough for me not to get excited about my boy Akshay, but at 28-1, Rye, I don't mind it. And then Keegan's playing. Shout out to Keegan, obviously, Ryder Cup captain, BMW champion, generational striper in practice rounds. He plays good tee to green Jerz and doesn't make a lot of putts. I'm sure he'll take it seriously. He's played the hero before. He's playing. Keegan or Sep? Who do you like more between Keegan and Sep?
Give me Sep on Bermuda. He had an event under his belt already. He didn't play too well, but give me Sep on Bermuda. He played really well here last year, and he hits the ball fairly straight off the tee.
Are you going to go to Nicky D?
Yeah, Nicky Dunlap for sure. This course has little nuance. Just avoid the wind and make birdies. That's what Nick Dunn has done well. And Nick Dunn is a new member at Panther National. He's been getting the Bermuda reps in, been playing a ton of golf of late. So Nick Dunn for sure, 35-1. Disrespectful. Like, go through the wins in this field. From 2024. Scottie Scheffler has the most. And who has the second most? 2024. It's.
I think so. Yeah, Nick Dunn. Because to your point on the odds and the wins from the top, Scottie, obviously we don't need to talk about Scottie. JT 0 wins. Ludwig 0 wins. Cantlay 0 wins. Henley 0 wins. Burns 0 wins. Sungjae 0 wins. Wyndy C
1 win. Pebble
1 win, but it wasn't a real golf tournament. 3 rounds doesn't count. So 0 wins for Wyndy. Tom Kim 0 wins. Jason Day 0 wins. Theegs 0 wins, and then Bobby Mack 2.
No.
Who won?
No. Theegs was in September. Never mind. You're right.
Yeah. And so then now we're at only guys over like 28-1. And now we have wins from a lot of guys. Bobby Mack 2, Rye 1, Shea 1, should have been 2, CY obviously 0, Harman 0, Keegan 1, Sep 0, Nick Dunn 2, Pavone 1. So all the guys down here at the bottom actually have infinitely more wins than all the guys ahead of them on the odds board.
Yeah. Nick Dunn is T2 in the wins market. No. Yeah. T2.
Yeah, he's tied with Bobby Mack, who I was talking about earlier. Like, if you just bet Bobby Mack and Nick Dunn, even if they finish last place, you can at least just say win equity. Like, it is like good bet.
Why'd you bet him? Duh. That's my write-up for Nick Dunn on the site. Win equity.
Yeah, honestly. That was why I bet Luke Herbs last week at the Australian Open, because like he wins at least once a year on the DP, and then he's won on the tour. And that's why when he was 4 shots ahead after 2 rounds and there was only clowns around him, I was like, if he's a dog player, he wins this. But Jerz, that's the hero. Sounds like you're gonna go down the board, sling some bullets.
For sure.
Next week after that, it's we got Q School. We've got
Grant
the
Thornton
mixed event, the Grant Thornton. I know you've hit the Grant Thornton before. I believe any early leans at the GT, the Grant Thornton.
I need a Maverick Manila to get back with Daniel Kang so we can have a little rivalry and couples matchup. But he's got a new girl, so I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be with her. They were electric, though.
Did Mabs win at the RSM qualify as Mab getting his first win in a week field at a bad number?
Yeah, for sure. I invented that take years ago, so that's a Vic for me. I count that as an outright.
Yeah, I agree. Jerz, it's been an absolute pleasure. Anything to sign off? I will say I've started betting college basketball again. Off to a nice start. Get over to Vinceric's Hoops. I think there's a big slate tomorrow. I'm 8-5 on the year, and 2 of my losses have been by the hook. Both of those by half point. I haven't had any go my way, so I think I'm seeing the board all right. After last year, I didn't know if I could keep seeing the board well. I am. Obviously, we've still got the site up and going, and then we got the college football playoff on the horizon. Jerz, we ended the last pod talking about football. Washington is terrible. Jed Fish. Everything I said about Jed Fish, I take back. I had already seen enough of Jed Fish. I'm good. I've seen enough. Nothing personal. I kind of like some of the stuff he does at a high level. I've seen enough of his coaching in the game now for me to go, this guy can't coach the game right. So how's he going to figure it out?
Are you upset or happy that Alabama's going to make the playoff?
So that's a great question. And I have a clear opinion about it. Taking one step back, DeBoer, I think somebody should offer DeBoer the chance to undo what he did, because he fucked so many teams. He fucked Alabama because he's always a luck box coach. And last year he luck boxed to the extreme. So when he left Washington, I think the football gods were like, this guy's luck boxing, and now he's disrespecting us by like ditching Washington. We're going to take away his luck box. That obviously harmed Washington because now we got Jed Fish and we lost our entire team, and we like fell off because what are you supposed to do? Arizona's been terrible. So Kalen DeBoer started like a string of bad things happening. So I will say, I think he should be given the opportunity to undo it. I'd welcome him back to Washington with open arms, no hard feelings. I think we go back in time. But when it comes to the playoff, did I want him to make the playoff? No. Do I think Alabama deserves to be in the playoff? No. On both of those accounts, I don't think they belong in the playoff. I think in general, the 12-team playoff is kind of dumb. I think there's already too many teams.
It's going to be great this year, though, because it's wide open, though.
Yeah, but I think it's like I think 6 to 8 to me would be like the right amount of teams, but I'm cool with 12, like whatever. I don't think they should be in. But all that matters to me is that Oregon doesn't win the championship. That's the only possible care in the world that I have. Any team wins and they're playing Oregon, I'm rooting for them. Any team.
Right.
And I will, it's not just rooting. I'm like standing up when they get a touchdown and like fist pumping, fired up. That's how much I dislike Oregon. I need DeBoer in there because DeBoer knows how to beat Lanning. DeBoer owns Lanning. DeBoer's like Lanning's daddy, basically. And so I need him in there. And for that reason, I support Alabama in the playoff.
I think they're going to make it. I really do.
I think they will, based on like the lay of the land.
Yeah, just because that Miami loss is just huge. That's what they needed.
I'll take that. I said Miami was an unserious football team, and they appear to be unserious.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess we'll see.
You've got your future. They at least have a chance of making it.
They have a chance now. We've lost South Carolina, but my futures are Clemson and Alabama and Texas. So I got potentially 3 bowls in the playoff, which would be crazy. And my fourth team was Florida State.
If you had to pick a team right now, like taking the odds out of it, who do you think wins?
Alabama. If Alabama's in the playoff, they're winning.
I think Texas. I think Texas is going to win.
I hopefully Texas, but I think
like if Texas, I think Texas needs to show up and like smash Georgia. I don't know if they will, but like if they can take care of Georgia and get their confidence, they had to me have the best team of like they had the experience of all the guys. They played Washington in the semifinal last year. They almost won the game. Like they're the only team of the top teams who was in the mix last year. Like Michigan's obviously not been good this year. Ohio State,
Jerz. I don't trust their quarterback.
No, I'm just saying it was the most unserious thing I've ever seen. What were they doing?
Ryan Day's an insane human being. He's an insane human being. Like he's kind of funny for what he does.
Oh, it's hilarious. The funniest thing would be if they then made the championship and then like blew the game or something. Like they make it all the way back. Everybody gets excited again about Ryan Day because Ohio State fans will just let it go if he makes the championship or plays good. And then he'll just let them down again because that's what he does. But Jerz, I love college football. It's college basketball season. I'm not going to declare it golf season, but I'm going to say it's pretty close. And I'll tell you this also, Jerz. Out here in San Francisco today, 63 degrees. Sun is shining. I'll be playing golf in the winter for the first time maybe in my whole life, because I'm from Washington. It's not sunny in Washington either. Jerz, this is my first time being somewhere for an extended period where the weather's just kind of nice most of the time. So you need to get out here. We need to hit the links. And I think my goal is to be a consistent. Do you think this is a reasonable goal? To be a consistent breaker of like where my kind of high score is like 84 and I break 80 from time to time. My goal by the end of the summer is to get within the realm of that play. Do you think if I commit myself,
by the end of summer, for sure. Oh my God. By the end of summer, sure. Like you're objectively like a more skilled golfer than I am. And I was around that score for like the summer. So yes, definitely.
And I'm out here on POA, which is my specialty.
For surface. That's everyone knows that. So
everyone knows that.
All right. If you're this deep into the pod, there's potential. I'm going to say the chances are at 75, and no one knows this yet. We could have Kapalua Boots for myself. So,
folks, you heard it here. Yeah, if you made it an hour and 13 minutes in, you deserve that surprise.
You deserve that nugget.
It is 75%. We're not going to make any promises, but that's huge news. Boots, caps. I'm already out here on the West Coast. Who knows what we're capable of this year? Jerz, who knows? Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we will talk to you at some point before the end of the year to talk about one and done and whatever else we want to chat about. Good stuff, and good luck at the Hero.